We're ready to start? Yes. All right, everyone. We have the CONCACAF Champions Cup press conference with head coach Pat Noonan. We'll begin with questions here in the room. First off.
How are you guys doing physically? Just starting the season pretty hot here with all the games.
We're in a good place. I think, a lot was looked at just in terms of the guys that played a bulk of the minutes over the first two games and some higher numbers than, we've seen in a two-game stretch, for quite some time. In a good way. But it certainly has us monitoring guys and making sure that, when the time's right with the busy stretch, we have our patients ready for fresh legs, but with the idea that we get a strong group out there to go win a game. So everybody outside of a couple, contusions, I would say, came through it in a pretty good way. So everybody that is available prior is available.
Having the 2-goal lead, I guess, how does that change? Does it change the approach at all, or do you have to have any conversations about this isn't done yet? What's kind of your approach going into this with that lead?
The conversation about it's not done yet has certainly happened. If we think for a second that we can step on the field and go about it the wrong way and still get a result, we're kidding ourselves. So I think the guys are prepared for the second leg to go after it in a way where we continue to understand the importance of wins and goal differential and things that come into play if we progress in this tournament. So I think we'll have a combination of fresh legs, guys that are eager to maybe get a lot of more minutes and then see how we get through it after 45 to decide on what it looks like for the second half and moving forward.
Pat, their manager, including this morning, has been pretty open and up. It's obviously the case in an aggregate score series. The score being what it is, they're going to have to chase it, right? They're going to try to score early. With that, without giving the plan away, would you be content to kind of, knowing that's the case, would you be content to kind of absorb that, or would you want to for the knockout blow?
The idea is not to absorb in the initial stages. We're at home and we have a group again that's ready to go out there and continue to put us in a better position to advance. So we're not going to sit in and we're not going to expect them to, like you mentioned, they're in a position where they kind of got to chase a little bit. And so how do we, manage that and play the game in a way where we eliminate risk, but play in a confident way where we know we'll be able to create chances and not leave ourselves exposed.
I think talked a lot about the challenges together. That's earlier in the year. Is there a positive side to play from the game specifically so quickly to start the season and not the impact you have later in the year, particularly in chemistry or development?
Sure. And we can always look at it in different ways. And, for us, we get a lot of games to evaluate our group, specifically new faces. We saw that on the weekend. So the more games, the more opportunity to see guys, in pressure situations and how we handle it and how our group kind of evolves early on and progresses through the schedule congestion. So I like the fact that we get to continue to see, every 3 days, 4 days, as long as we get through this, this first series, what it looks like, for our group playing a lot of games and evaluate how we manage it, but also how we perform during it to give us, some early answers as to where we need to improve and certainly with new faces, how they're integrating themselves into the game day lineup, and so that's always a positive of a busy schedule.
And then I wanted to ask you about that. Was a really young player on your roster, but you've gone to him twice now to open the year. What are your impressions of him as a young player through preseason to now, and do you expect more of him this year than you maybe saw with last year?
Yeah, he's on the field because he's been playing well. We haven't really looked at the age as much as the performances, and that's kind of how we evaluate all of our players. If you're good enough, you're good enough. And he's shown to really progressed and matured from what we saw when he initially joined the first team. And you could tell he's eager to learn. He's got a pretty good player in front of him at the moment to learn from, to ask questions to. Because that's kind of how we see him within our group is in that attacking midfield position. So he's also shown to be versatile in ways where, whether he's playing from a deeper position or more advanced position, he's a good player and has a good way of reading the game. He's got a good way of receiving the ball and being able to play under pressure. And so, he's earned these early minutes, and if he continues to perform and progress in a good way, then I imagine there'll be more minutes ahead.
All right, Laurel, and one more from Pat.
The teams that are playing in this tournament, the MLS teams in this tournament, had kind of a slow start to their MLS season over the weekend. We look at the records. I think it was maybe.
Anybody?
I don't think anyone. Yeah, I think they all lost. Or not lost, they dropped.
Yeah.
Lost, should have dropped. Is there something that MLS teams are learning about navigating the tournament? Is there a key to making sure that this isn't impacting how you guys start your season?
I don't want to speak for other teams, but certainly it has impacted the ability for teams to get results. Because I think the teams that are representing Major League Soccer in this tournament are strong teams, and nobody won in the opening weekend. So it's tough. I don't want to make that an excuse as to why we didn't get a result. We could have gotten a result in our opening match, and we didn't. But it's challenging in the sense that you're going to have, heavy legs based on travel, based on, the quick turnaround. That's just natural. It's how do guys take care of themselves to be able to turn things around quickly, and when's the right moment to have rotation so you can protect breath during a busy period of time. So I think historically, if you look at the numbers, teams that are participating in this competition haven't fared well early on in the season in terms of points and wins, but we'll try to focus on our injuries, and we know we didn't start it in the strongest of ways with our opening performance and not getting 3 points, but it's our first time trying to navigate this, and we'll continue to go through life and make sure that we have a focus of advancing in this tournament while still being very competitive and ready for league play. So, it's obviously a difficult opening weekend for MLS teams in the tournament.
Last one from you, Pat. MLS wants its teams to be prominent in this competition, and I found that with Seattle winning it a couple of years ago, every year it seems like large sections of the overall MLS community get behind the teams that look strongest in this competition and ultimately rally around the one that goes deepest. Given that, do you think enough is done to kind of help the Champions Cup teams balance it all? Is MLS doing enough to support you guys?
It's always going to be a challenge. We're always looking at ways to improve rosters in depth, and I think that still has a ways to go there. That comes up in what seems like multiple times a year, because, there's still ways that I think with the mechanisms of how you can construct the roster that we're limited. We know that. And we need to continue to have that conversation to find solutions to improve the roster to be more competitive outside of league play. So what I would say is, it's challenging to navigate, but I would like to think if there's any animosity within the league, that you put that aside in the hopes that MLS teams are doing well in this competition and winning this competition, because that's the next step. Is not just talking about competing in a strong way, but having more Seattles that go on these runs to win this competition, where we're now the dominant league in the region. So the other factor is that you just have to think about where the leagues are at when this competition kicks off. We just played our first game, and there's League MX. I speak of them specifically because they've dominated this competition. That's that's the majority of the champions in the Champions Cup. They're 9 games in. That makes a difference. And again, it's not to make an excuse. It's just a reality. It's you get 9 games under your belt, and you have a lot more answers to be able to, I think, succeed in this competition. So that's always a challenge, just based on the schedules within the league. So hopefully we can continue to find solutions to improve our ability to have more champions represented from MLS in this competition.
Thank you very much, Pat.
Thank you.